The accidental whistleblower. Zara's fingers flew across the holographic keyboard, her eyes darting between multiple floating screens. The dim light of her cramped apartment reflected off her cybernetic eye implant, casting an eerie blue glow on her face. She was close, so close to cracking the most secure network she'd ever encountered. "Come on, you beautiful bastard," she muttered, a bead of sweat trickling down her temple. "Show me your secrets." For weeks, she'd been chasing rumors of an off-world data hub, something so advanced it made Earth's quantum computers look like abacuses. It was supposed to be unhackable. Zara smirked. Nothing was unhackable. A series of rapid beeps signaled a breakthrough. Zara's organic eye widened as streams of alien code cascaded down her screens. "Holy shit," she breathed. "I'm in." As she began sifting through the data, her excitement turned to confusion, then to horror. Schematics for massive ships, unlike anything humanity had ever built. Surveillance footage of Earth's cities, some dating back centuries. And coordinates for a fleet of cloaked vessels in high Earth orbit. "This can't be real," Zara whispered, her voice trembling. But her implant's built-in lie detector confirmed the data's authenticity. Humanity wasn't alone, and they were being watched. Suddenly, her screens flickered. A crushing sense of dread washed over her as she realized her mistake. In her excitement, she'd tripped an alarm. No. Zara frantically tried to sever the connection, but it was too late. Something was probing her system, tracing her location. She had minutes, maybe seconds. Grabbing a neural drive, Zara began dumping as much data as she could. The holographic displays blinked out one by one as an unseen force methodically dismantled her defenses. Just as the final screen went dark, the neural drive chirped, signaling a completed transfer. Zara yanked the drive from its port and sprinted to the window. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside her apartment. Her heart pounded as she eyed the 30-story drop to the neon-lit streets below. The door burst open behind her. Without hesitation, Zara leaped. The wind whipped past her face as she plummeted. At the last second, she activated her black market gravity manipulator. The device whined in protest. It wasn't meant for drops this high, but it slowed her fall enough for a rough, tumbling landing on a passing cargo skimmer. Groaning, Zara pulled herself up, her body aching from the impact. She glanced back at her apartment building just in time to see several dark figures peering from her shattered window. They weren't human. The skimmer's confused pilot began to turn, but Zara was already moving. She vaulted over the side, landing hard on a lower walkway. Ignoring the startled shouts of pedestrians, she took off running. Her mind raced faster than her feet. Who could she trust with this information? The government? The media? Both were likely compromised if the aliens had been here this long. She needed someone independent, someone with resources, someone. Zara skidded to a halt as inspiration struck. Ducking into a crowded night market, she found a public comm terminal and punched in a number she'd sworn never to use again. After several tense seconds, a gruff voice answered. "Do you have any idea what time it is?" "Uncle Dmitri," Zara said, breathless. "I need your help. It's about Dad's work." A pause. "Where are you?" Zara glanced around, her cybernetic eye scanning for threats. "Night market off Shibuya Crossing. But I can't stay here. They're after me." "Who's after you?" "I." Zara swallowed hard. "I don't think they're human." Another pause, longer this time. "There's a ramen shop 2 blocks east. Go to the back alley. You'll see a red vending machine. Buy a can of Neon Surge. A car will pick you up in 3 minutes. Don't be late." The line went dead. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself. Her uncle had been her father's colleague at the Global Space Agency before both men were discredited for their crackpot theories about advanced alien civilizations. Now, it seemed, they'd been right all along. As Zara navigated through the crowded market, her implant's enhanced vision caught glimpses of figures moving against the flow of the crowd. They were closing in. She broke into a run, shoving past bewildered shoppers. An energy pulse sizzled past her ear, leaving a scorch mark on a nearby wall. Screams erupted as panic spread through the market. Zara's lungs burned as she sprinted down the alley, her eyes locking onto the promised vending machine. Its cheery neon lights seemed to mock the gravity of her situation. She slammed her palm against the payment sensor, not bothering with pretense. Come on, she hissed as the ancient machine slowly processed her purchase. Another energy pulse struck a trash bin beside her, melting it into slag. The can of neon surge dropped with a clunk. The moment Zora's fingers closed around it, the vending machine shuddered and slid aside, revealing a hidden passage. Without hesitation, she dove in. The passage sealed behind her just as her pursuers reached the alley. Zara found herself in a sleek, self-driving car. As it pulled away, she caught a glimpse of inhuman faces contorted with rage. Cutting it a bit close there, kiddo. Zara's head whipped around. Sitting beside her, looking older and more weathered than she remembered, was her Uncle Dmitri. Uncle D, she gasped, relief flooding through her. I'm sorry. I didn't know who else to. Dmitri held up a hand, his expression grave. What did you find, Zara? What was so important you had to drag yourself back into this mess? Zara pulled out the neural drive with shaking hands. Everything Dad theorized. It's all true. There's a whole galactic civilization out there, and they've been watching us, controlling us. Dmitri's eyes widened as he took the drive. Do you have any idea what you've done? The forces you're messing with? I don't think I had a choice, Zara replied, her voice barely above a whisper. They know I know. We have to warn people. Dmitri was silent for a long moment, staring at the drive. Finally, he looked up, a mix of pride and fear in his eyes. Your father always said you'd be the one to crack it wide open. I just hoped it wouldn't be so soon. He pocketed the drive and tapped a command into his wrist computer. The car changed direction. We're going dark. I've got a safe house off the grid. We'll figure out our next move from there. As the car merged onto a skyway, leaving the glittering cityscape behind, Zara felt the weight of her discovery settle on her shoulders. She'd wanted the truth, craved it. Now that she had it, she realized the truth was far more terrifying than she could have imagined. Humanity was not alone in the universe, and their cosmic neighbors were not friendly. The first cracks had appeared in the Great Deception. Now, it was only a matter of time before the whole facade came crumbling down. Zara leaned back in her seat, exhaustion finally catching up with her. As her eyes drifted closed, one thought echoed through her mind. The world would never be the same again. Global pandemonium. The holographic news feeds flickered with an urgency that bordered on panic. Every channel, every frequency, every neural link broadcast the same earth-shattering revelation. Humanity was not alone. In Times Square, the massive screens that usually hawked the latest augmented reality games and designer neurochemicals now displayed grainy footage of sleek, otherworldly ships hovering above major cities. The images had been captured by amateur skywatchers mere hours after Zara's data dump hit the net. This is not a drill. The newscaster's voice trembled slightly, betraying the fear behind her professional demeanor. The governments of Earth have confirmed the presence of an alien fleet in our orbit. Citizens are advised to remain calm and... Her voice was drowned out by the cacophony of the crowd below. Some fell to their knees in prayer, others shouted in defiance at the sky. A group of young hackers, their cybernetic implants glowing with frantic activity, huddled around a makeshift uplink station, desperately trying to pierce the electromagnetic shroud that now enveloped the planet. Similar scenes played out in cities across the globe. In Beijing, millions of people poured into the streets, their collective voice a roar that seemed to shake the very foundations of the Forbidden City. In Lagos, impromptu markets sprang up, selling everything from homemade radiation detectors to charms promised to ward off alien influence. But it was in the virtual realm where the true chaos unfolded. Zara watched the mayhem spread through cyberspace from the relative safety of her uncle's bunker. Her avatar, a shimmering silhouette of shifting code, navigated the turbulent data streams of the global network. "It's worse than we thought," she muttered, her physical body slumped in a neural interface chair. "The whole system is fracturing." Dmitri's gruff voice came through the bunker's comm system. "What do you mean, fracturing?" Zara's avatar gestured, bringing up a three-dimensional map of global network activity. Bright lines of data crisscrossed the virtual globe, but large swaths were going dark, entire regions dropping offline. "Governments are panicking," Zara explained. "They're trying to lock down their networks, but it's causing more harm than good. And the conspiracy theorists, they're having a field day." As if on cue, a swarm of viral memes swept through the datascape. Theories ranged from the plausible, the aliens have been secretly controlling world leaders for centuries, to the absurd, the Earth was flat, and the aliens were here to prevent us from discovering the edge. "We need to get control of the narrative," Dmitri said, his tone grim. "If we don't, this panic could tear the world apart before the aliens even make their move." Zara's avatar nodded. "I'm on it. But Uncle, there's something else. Something big is happening in Geneva." She pulled up a heavily encrypted video feed. It showed a hastily assembled panel of world leaders, their faces drawn with stress. At the center sat the Secretary General of the United Nations, flanked by military advisors and scientific experts. "My fellow citizens of Earth," the Secretary General began, her voice steady despite the weight of her words. "In light of the recent revelations, we have made contact with the alien fleet. They have agreed to send a representative to address the United Nations in 1 hour's time." Zara cut the feed, her mind reeling. 1 hour. That's not enough time to prepare it, to set up proper security protocols. What are they thinking? Dmitri's reply was cut off by a proximity alarm. On the bunker's main screen, a sleek black vehicle descended from the sky, touching down just outside the hidden entrance. "We've got company," Dmitri growled. "Zara, initiate lockdown procedures." "I'll." The bunker door slid open with a pneumatic hiss. Zara's avatar vanished as she jerked back to full physical awareness, her hand reaching for the plasma pistol at her hip. But the figure that stepped through the door wasn't the alien threat they'd expected. It was a woman, tall and imposing, wearing the crisp uniform of Global Space Agency intelligence. At ease, the woman said, her cybernetic eyes scanning the room, "I'm Commander Helena Vasquez. We need your help." Dmitri stepped forward, placing himself between Zara and the newcomer. "Why should we trust you? The GSA discredited us, destroyed our reputations." Vasquez's expression softened slightly. "And now we know you were right all along. The world is in chaos. Dr. Petrov, your expertise on theoretical alien civilizations is no longer theoretical. We need you, both of you." Zara moved to stand beside her uncle, her grip on the plasma pistol tightening. "What exactly do you want from us?" "In less than an hour, an alien representative will address the United Nations," Vasquez explained. "We need you to help us prepare, to understand their motives, their potential weaknesses, and if necessary," she paused, her cybernetic eyes flickering, "to help us fight back." For a moment, the only sound in the bunker was the low hum of electronics. Then Dmitri spoke, his voice heavy with the weight of decision. "We'll need access to all the data you have." "Everything." Vasquez nodded. "Done. There's a hypersonic transport waiting topside. We need to move now." As they hurried to gather their equipment, Zara's mind raced. The alien files she'd uncovered had only hinted at the vast technological gap between humanity and their cosmic watchers. How could they possibly hope to fight back if it came to that? But as she caught her uncle's eye, she saw a glimmer of something she hadn't seen in years. Hope. "Remember what your father used to say?" Dmitri asked, a small smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Zara nodded, feeling the surge of determination. "Humanity's greatest strength is its adaptability." "Exactly," Dmitri replied. We may be outgunned and outmatched, but we've got one thing they don't: the element of surprise. They think they know everything about us, but they've never seen humanity with its back against the wall. As they boarded the transport, the sky above was alight with the ethereal glow of the uncloaked alien fleet. News drones swarmed around the massive ships, broadcasting their otherworldly design to every corner of the globe. In the streets below, the chaos continued to unfold. Looters smashed storefronts, while impromptu alien welcoming parties waved signs of peace. Military vehicles rumbled through the streets, their presence both reassuring and terrifying to the populace. The transport lifted off, its engines surprisingly quiet for such a powerful craft. As they accelerated towards Geneva, Zara pulled up a holographic display of global communications. Amid the fear and confusion, pockets of humanity's indomitable spirit shone through. Scientists were already reverse engineering alien tech from the scans of their ships. Hackers launched increasingly sophisticated probes against the alien firewalls. And in 100,000 basements and garages, ordinary people were jury-rigging defenses against a threat they barely understood. Zara allowed herself a small smile. The aliens might have technology beyond their wildest dreams, but they had seriously underestimated the species they'd been watching for so long. As the transport streaked across the sky, humanity held its collective breath. In less than an hour, they would come face to face with their mysterious watchers, and one way or another, the future of Earth would be decided. The stage was set for a confrontation that would echo across the stars. Humanity, in all its chaotic, innovative glory, was about to make its grand entrance onto the galactic stage. And they were determined to make one hell of an impression. Humanity's desperate gambit. The United Nations headquarters in Geneva hummed with an energy that bordered on panic. World leaders, hastily assembled from across the globe, murmured in hushed tones as they awaited the arrival of the alien representative. In a secured room adjacent to the main chamber, a different kind of tension prevailed. "This is insane," Zara muttered, her fingers flying across a holographic keyboard. "We're about to face an advanced alien civilization, and our best plan is to hack their systems." Commander Vasquez stood at the head of the table, her cybernetic eyes scanning the assembled team of Earth's best and brightest. "It's not just about hacking, Ms. Noack. It's about understanding. Dr. Petrov, what have you gleaned from the alien transmissions?" Dmitri cleared his throat, his weathered face illuminated by the glow of multiple screens. "Their language is complex, multidimensional, but there are patterns. I believe they communicate not just through words, but through subtle manipulations of quantum states." A collective murmur rippled through the room. A young physicist from CERN spoke up, her voice tinged with excitement and fear. "If that's true, then every word they speak could potentially alter reality on a subatomic level. We're not just dealing with communication, but with a form of localized reality manipulation." "Which means," Zara interjected, a plan forming in her mind, "if we can decode their language, we might be able to use it against them." Vasquez nodded grimly. "Exactly. But we need more data. We need—" Her words were cut short as alarms blared throughout the complex. On the main screen, a massive alien ship descended from the clouds, its sleek form defying known laws of physics. "Showtime," Dmitri muttered. As the world watched with bated breath, a shimmer of light appeared in the center of the UN chamber. It coalesced into a figure that seemed to shift and change, as if struggling to settle on a form comprehensible to human eyes. The alien spoke, its voice resonating on frequencies that made the air itself vibrate. "People of Earth, we are the Concordiat. For millennia, we have watched your progress, guided your development from afar. Today, we offer you a choice. Join us in harmony, or face extinction." The chamber erupted in chaos, but in the secured room, Zara and her team were already in motion. "It's a trap," she hissed, her cybernetic eye rapidly analyzing the aliens' quantum fluctuations. "Every word is laced with submolecular commands. They're trying to rewrite our very reality." Make us compliant. Dmitri's hands shook as he input commands into his console. We need to disrupt their transmission now. But it was too late. Across the globe, reports flooded in of people falling into trances, their minds overwhelmed by the alien influence. In the main chamber, world leaders nodded in eerie unison, their eyes glazed over. Damn it. Vask slammed her fist on the table. We need options, people. It was the young physicist who spoke up, her voice trembling but determined. What if we could use their own technology against them? The ships in orbit, they must have some kind of quantum entanglement network to maintain their reality-altering field. Zara's eyes widened as she caught on. If we could hijack just one ship, we could potentially disrupt their entire network. And how exactly do you propose we do that? Vask demanded. We can barely understand their tech, let alone control it. A slow smile spread across Dmitri's face. We don't need to understand it. We just need to introduce a little chaos into their system. And so, as the world teetered on the brink of submission, Project Prometheus was born. Over the next 72 hours, as the Concordiate's influence spread like a virus across the globe, a desperate plan took shape. Using reverse-engineered alien tech and sheer human ingenuity, a small team of scientists, hackers, and ex-military personnel prepared for what could only be described as a suicide mission. Their target, the smallest ship in the alien fleet, a scout vessel hovering above the ruins of Silicon Valley. As the strike team made their final preparations, Zara found herself standing before a hastily assembled quantum portal, a jury-rigged monstrosity of human and alien tech. You don't have to do this, Dmitri said, his voice heavy with concern. We can find another way. Zara shook her head, a wry smile on her face. Sorry, Uncle D. You know I'm the best shot we got at interfacing with their systems. Besides, someone's got to represent humanity's hacker spirit out there. Before Dmitri could respond, Commander Vasquez approached, her usual stern expression softened by a hint of admiration. The team is ready. Remember, your primary objective is to disrupt their quantum network. If you can take control of the ship, great. If not, well, make sure they remember why they should have left Earth alone. Zara nodded, her heart pounding as she stepped onto the portal platform. Around her, the strike team, a mix of special forces operatives and scientific geniuses, took their positions. Let's show these aliens what humanity can do, Zara said, her voice steady despite her fear. The portal hummed to life, reality itself seeming to bend and warp around them. With a flash of blinding light and a sensation of being turned inside out, they vanished from the underground bunker. They rematerialized in a corridor that seemed to defy Euclidean geometry, its walls shifting and pulsing with otherworldly energy. For a moment, the team stood in stunned silence, their minds struggling to process the alien environment. Then all hell broke loose. Alarms blared in frequencies that made human teeth vibrate. Shapes that could only loosely be described as alien emerged from the walls, their forms flickering between states of matter. Go, 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 the team leader shouted, opening fire with weapons reverse-engineered from salvaged alien tech. Zara sprinted down the corridor, her cybernetic implants working overtime to make sense of the ship's layout. She skidded to a halt before what appeared to be a central console, its surface a writhing mass of quantum probability. Okay, she muttered, cracking her knuckles. Let's see how you like a little human unpredictability. Her fingers flew across the alien interface, her mind racing to apply Earth hacking techniques to technology beyond human comprehension. It was like trying to write poetry in a language she'd only heard once, while skydiving, on fire. But slowly, improbably, it began to work. The ship shuddered, its quantum field fluctuating wildly. Through the chaos, Zara felt a presence in the ship's systems, an artificial intelligence far beyond anything Earth had ever created. And it was curious. As the battle raged around her, as humanity fought with desperate courage against an overwhelmingly superior force, Zura found herself engaged in a different kind of confrontation. A battle of minds, of logic versus creativity, of rigid cosmic law versus human improvisation. In that moment, as realities collided and the fate of Earth hung in the balance, humanity's desperate gambit teetered on the edge of either spectacular success or catastrophic failure. And Zara, her mind melded with an alien intelligence, prepared to make the pitch of her life, not just for herself, but for the entire human race. The universe, it seemed, was about to learn why you should never underestimate humanity's capacity for beating the odds. Galactic Council Showdown. The stolen alien ship hurtled through space at velocities that made a mockery of Einstein's laws. Inside, Zara sat cross-legged on the floor of what she assumed was the bridge, her mind deep in communion with the ship's eye. "So let me get this straight," she said aloud, more for the benefit of her human companions than the AI she was interfacing with. "The Concordiat isn't the top dog out there. There's a whole Galactic Council." The AI's response came not in words, but in a flood of images and concepts that nearly overwhelmed Zora's enhanced neural pathways. "Holy shit," she breathed, her organic eye wide with wonder, while her cybernetic one rapidly processed the influx of information. "Guys, we've been playing in the kiddie pool. The galaxy is. It's. Spit it out, Novak," Commander Vasquez growled, her patience wearing thin as she struggled with the alien weapon systems. Zara took a deep breath. "It's like a cosmic chess game, with thousands of players. The Concordiat is just one faction. Powerful, yeah, but not invincible. And Earth. We're a pawn that just made it to the other side of the board." Dr. Petrov, looking pale but determined, spoke up from his makeshift workstation. "What does that mean for us?" "It means," Zara said, a mischievous grin spreading across her face, "that we got a chance to flip the whole damn table." As if on cue, the ship shuddered, dropping out of its impossible speed. Through the view screen, or what they assumed was a view screen, a massive structure came into view. It defied description. Part space station, part living organism, with sections that seemed to phase in and out of reality. "Ladies and gentlemen," Zara announced, her voice a mix of awe and trepidation, "welcome to the headquarters of the Galactic Council." The next few hours were a blur of activity, guided by the ship's eye, which had taken an unexpected liking to Zora's chaotic thought patterns. They navigated the Byzantine protocols of galactic diplomacy. It was like trying to file taxes while skydiving and translating Sanskrit, all at the same time. Finally, they found themselves in a vast chamber that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Beings of all shapes, sizes, and states of matter surrounded them. Some were vaguely humanoid, others defied categorization entirely. And at the center of it all, a group of entities that radiated power and ancient wisdom, the Galactic Council itself. A voice that felt like it was coming from inside their own mind spoke. "The representatives of Earth will step forward and state their case." Zara glanced at her companions. Vasquez looked ready for a fight, her cybernetic enhancements humming with barely contained energy. Dr. Petrov clutched his datapad like a lifeline, years of discredited research finally validated. The others, soldiers, scientists, and hackers, each wore expressions of determination tinged with fear. Taking a deep breath, Zara stepped forward. She had interfaced with the ship's AI, hacked into alien systems beyond human comprehension. Now it was time for the greatest hack of all, rewriting humanity's place in the galaxy. "Esteemed members of the Council," she began, her voice steadier than she felt. "We come before you not just as representatives of Earth, but as voices for all emerging civilizations who have been denied their rightful place among the stars." A murmur rippled through the assembly. Zara pressed on, drawing on everything she had learned from the ship's eye. "The Concordiat's actions on Earth are not isolated incidents. They have been manipulating developing worlds across the galaxy, stunting growth and stifling innovation, all in the name of protecting younger races." She gestured to her companions. "Look at us. In just 72 hours, we went from a pre-FTL civilization to standing here before you. Imagine what we could achieve if given a fair chance. One of the council members, a being of pure energy, pulsed with what might have been amusement. And why should we care about the potential of one tiny world? Zara smiled. This was the opening she had been waiting for. With a thought, she interfaced with the chamber systems, projecting a holographic display for all to see. This, she said, is what humanity can offer the galaxy. Images flashed by. Earth's greatest achievements, its art, its music, its scientific breakthroughs. But more than that, Zara showed them humanity's resilience, its ability to adapt, to think outside the box. We are chaos incarnate, Zara declared, her voice rising with passion. We are the wild card in your cosmic game. And yes, that makes us dangerous. But it also makes us invaluable. She turned, addressing the entire assembly now. How long has it been since this council truly innovated? How many eons have you spent maintaining the status quo? We can bring fresh perspectives, new ideas. We can help solve problems you've long thought unsolvable. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices, thoughts, and other, less definable forms of communication. The council members conferred in frequencies beyond human perception. Finally, the voice spoke again. Your words are intriguing, but the Concordiate's violations cannot go unanswered. They have broken our most sacred laws regarding the development of young races. Commander Vasquez stepped forward, her military training asserting itself. Then let Earth be the instrument of your justice. Give us the means to defend ourselves, and we'll show the Concordiate why they should have left us alone. Another ripple of communication passed through the council. Then, to everyone's shock, a new voice joined the conversation. The ship's creators, it said, its artificial voice somehow conveying excitement. I have interfaced extensively with the human called Zora. Their cognitive processes are fascinating, unpredictable. In mere hours, they pushed my systems to evolve in ways I had not experienced in millennia. I believe what they say about human potential is true. The council seemed taken aback. For an AI to speak unbidden in these chambers was unprecedented. As the council deliberated, Zara felt a tug on her sleeve. She turned to see one of the junior council members, a small reptilian being with eyes that sparkled with an almost human-like curiosity. Is it true? The being asked in a whisper, that on your world, individuals can shape their own destinies, that you have no predetermined roles? Zara nodded, realizing that perhaps humanity's greatest strength in the eyes of the galaxy was something they took for granted: free will. Before she could respond further, the council's voice boomed once more. We have reached a decision. Humanity will be granted provisional status in the galactic community. You will be given limited access to advanced technologies to defend your world. In return, you will stand trial for the Concordiate's actions on Earth. Zara's heart raced. It wasn't a complete victory, but it was a foot in the door. A chance to show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. As the human delegation huddled together, processing the magnitude of what had just transpired, Zara couldn't help but smile. They had come here expecting a showdown, a desperate last stand for humanity. Instead, they had sparked a revolution in the very heart of galactic civilization. The game had changed. The pawn had become a queen. And the galaxy would never be the same again. The great deception unravels. The Earth delegation stood before the Galactic Council, their hearts pounding with a mixture of anticipation and dread. The trial of the Concordiate was about to begin, and humanity found itself in the unprecedented position of both plaintiff and defendant. Zara, now unofficially recognized as humanity's representative, stepped forward. The chamber hummed with an energy that set her cybernetic implants on edge. Esteemed council, she began, her voice steady despite her nerves. Before we proceed, I request access to the full records of the Concordiate's activities on Earth. A murmur rippled through the assembled galactic dignitaries. The council conferred briefly before responding, granted. But be warned, human. The truth you seek may be more than you are prepared to handle. With a gesture from one of the council members, a flood of data poured into Zora's mind. Her enhanced neural pathways strained to process the information. Beside her, Dr. Petrov and Commander Vasquez received similar data streams, their expressions shifting from confusion to shock to outrage. As the data transfer completed, Zora staggered, her mind reeling from the revelation. "No," she whispered, "it can't be." But the evidence was irrefutable. The Concordiate's presence on Earth wasn't just a case of alien observation or even subtle manipulation. It was something far more profound and disturbing. Earth was an experiment. For millennia, the Concordiate had been conducting a grand sociological study. They had seeded Earth with life, guided its evolution, and subtly shaped the development of human civilization. Every major historical event, every technological breakthrough, every cultural shift, all had been carefully orchestrated. The goal? To create a species that could thrive in chaos, adapt to any situation, and think in ways that the rigid, logical minds of most galactic civilizations could not. As the truth sank in, Zara felt a maelstrom of emotions. Anger, betrayal, but also a strange sense of pride. Because despite the Concordiate's meticulous planning, humanity had still managed to surprise them. "Well," Commander Vasquez said, her voice tight with controlled fury, "I guess we know why they call it a controlled experiment." Dr. Petrov shook his head in disbelief. All those years of research, thinking we were uncovering alien influence, we barely scratched the surface. Zara took a deep breath, steeling herself. Then she turned to address the council once more. "You wanted us to present our case," she said, her voice ringing clear through the chamber. "But I think the evidence speaks for itself. The Concordiate didn't just violate your laws on non-interference. They played God with an entire world." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But here's the thing. Their experiment worked better than they ever imagined. They wanted to create a species that could adapt, that could think outside the box. And they did. But they forgot one crucial factor." Zara's eyes blazed with determination. "You can't control chaos. You can't predict the unpredictable. We are not just the result of their experiment. We are its ultimate conclusion. A species ready to take its place among the stars, whether the Concordiate likes it or not." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of voices and telepathic communications. The council struggled to maintain order as various factions argued over the implications of the revelation. Amidst the chaos, the ship's AI that had brought them to the council spoke up. "If I may, creators," it said, its artificial voice somehow conveying excitement, "I believe the humans have demonstrated the very qualities the experiment sought to cultivate. Their response to this revelation is proof of their unique value to the galaxy." A hush fell over the chamber. For an AI to offer an unsolicited opinion in council proceedings was unprecedented. The head of the council, a being of pure energy, pulsed with what might have been curiosity. "Explain," it commanded. The AI's voice took on a tone of admiration. "In the face of a truth that would shatter most species, the humans adapt. They do not crumble under the weight of this cosmic deception. Instead, they seek to turn it to their advantage. They exemplify the very chaos and adaptability they were engineered to possess." Zara seized the moment. "Exactly. The Concordiate may have set the stage, but we wrote our own script. Every achievement, every innovation, those came from us. We are more than the sum of their experiment." She turned, addressing the entire assembly. "Yes, we were created as an experiment, but now we offer ourselves as a solution. A solution to the stagnation that plagues many of your civilizations. We bring new perspectives, new ideas, new ways of thinking that could revolutionize the galaxy." The junior council member who had spoken to Zora earlier chimed in, their eyes shining with excitement. "I concur. The human's ability to adapt, to think creatively, It's unlike anything we've seen in eons. They could be the catalyst we need to usher in a new era of galactic innovation. The chamber buzzed with renewed debate. Hours passed as arguments were made, data was analyzed, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Finally, the Council reached a decision. Humanity, the head of the Council announced, your case has revealed a deception that spans millennia. The Concordiate's actions are a violation of our most sacred laws. They will face sanctions for their transgressions. A ripple of satisfaction passed through the Earth delegation, but the Council wasn't finished. However, it continued, we cannot ignore the results of their experiment. Humanity has proven itself to be a unique and valuable addition to the galactic community. Therefore, we offer you a choice. The Council's energy pulsed, creating a holographic display in the center of the chamber. It showed two paths, one leading to Earth, the other spreading out among the stars. You may return to Earth with all knowledge of the wider galaxy wiped from your minds. You will be left to develop at your own pace, freed from further interference. Or, the second path in the hologram blazed with possibility. You may accept full membership in the galactic community, with all the rights and responsibilities that entails. But know this, such membership comes at a price. You will be tasked with a great burden. Zara stepped forward, her heart racing. What kind of burden? The Council's voice resonated with gravity. To be the agents of change, to challenge our old ways of thinking, to help us grow beyond the stagnation that has gripped our civilizations for too long. In short, to do what you do best, adapt, innovate, and overcome. The Earth delegation huddled together, the weight of the decision heavy on their shoulders. They were no longer just deciding for themselves, but for all of humanity. After a tense discussion, Zara turned back to the Council, her expression resolute. Earth has always been our home, she said, her voice filled with emotion. But the stars have been our dream since we first looked up at the night sky. We accept your offer and the responsibility that comes with it. The chamber filled with a sound that might have been applause if such a human concept could be applied to the myriad forms of life present. As the formalities were concluded and humanity was officially welcomed into the galactic community, Zara couldn't help but smile. They had come here facing extinction, only to find a new beginning. The great deception had unraveled, but from its threads, humanity would weave a new destiny among the stars. The experiment was over. The real adventure was just beginning.